Norwegian countries at the top of their racial hierarchical structure, which I've always found an odd fact.
You know what I find funny? MJ the Great says Roger is such a loser. Well, a couple things that would maybe counter that is A, I just want to debate with you. Number two, I invited you to represent your position, and you couldn't even get words out of your mouth. And then also, according to your own logic, I'm a winner. According to you, I'm at the top of some racial hierarchy pyramid. So I don't know what a loser is. I mean, maybe all of a sudden you're recognizing that your argument about this racial hierarchy pyramid that you've invented in your mind doesn't exist.
I
Uh,
just
re-
want to say it for the
oh,
record. This is not the first room Hakima has ruined. It is one of many, and they are often ruined in the same way. I am not asking for any kind of action here. I just want to make sure it's on the record.
yes. And MJ the Great said, "You could never defeat me in a debate, idiot." Um, Well, since you are the debate idiot, I just wanted to say that when I asked you a question to defend your position, you couldn't do that. Your response was, "You need to go read about it." And then when I asked a follow up question, you said, "I'm not an expert in this." I would say that I would say I won. In fact, it's not even a victory. It's more like a count out. Think of that in wrestling. Like you didn't even get into the ring to answer the bell, and so it's worse than a submission, worse than a pinfall. You were too much of a coward to even get in the ring. Can we focus on Dr. Jordan now and handing out mod badges to doctors that he thinks are cute? Dr. Jordan, can you explain that behavior?
Yes, I owe you a grand apology. I was wrong. But I had to test the waters and do it in front of you. It was just, I was too tempted. But it's a weird path.
Did he cut out? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Look, I
Jordan.
don't want to speak for the ladies of Clubhouse, but I'll just add this. I doubt that you're going to get in a married woman's pants by giving her a mod badge. I think that there's better ways to seduce, and I think that you should probably leave married women off your seduction list. Thank you.
I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, after all, we are on Clubhouse. Welcome back, JB. How we doing?
I'm doing fantastic. D Rohan, how you doing? I haven't spoken to you in a while. Happy and
Happy
healthy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year to you, man. Yeah, it's been a good one. Welcome back on. In case you missed it, Dr. Jordan decided to moderate Dr. Catherine because he thought it'd be a great way of getting down her pants. It didn't work out well for him, and subsequently both were demodded. That's the update.
Oh, Hakeem is back to tell people who's the racist.
I'm not back for that, but if you want me to be back for that, I will definitely call you out when you are.
Mm,
The room's
mm.
barely getting started again, so there's not much for you to ruin, Hakima.
Well, did you tell him about the Hall of Fame on Monday or no?
Nope, not yet. Why don't you go ahead and tell him about it? Hakima might get the award for the most racist person on Clubhouse, but go ahead, tell him about it, JB.
So I'm the most racist person on Clubhouse. That's fascinating.
You're definitely not the least.
I never said nothing racist toward not one person or a group of people. Not one time have I ever. So I challenge you to say how I'm a racist. Like lose your first debate, Roger. I want you to lose
Yeah.
your first debate by proving me a racist. You can't do that.
Well, I first want to compliment you on acknowledging the fact that I've not lost a debate. And then, so here's what I'd like to point out: the silence that you had after you made this. You were outraged about saying that people were racist, and then you didn't come up with very good reasons to explain why they were racist. And then when somebody uh, used an overt racial slur, you remained on mute and had nothing to say about it. That hypocrisy and your silence tells me that you're not the ally that I was hoping for in this discussion.
First of all, like, I'm not a moderator. And you as a moderator and other moderators have let people say racist shit all day, every day. Now, because I didn't call out somebody saying something racist toward white people, somehow I'm racist because a regular person off the stage didn't call out racism when the moderators never call out racism. It's fucking a fascinating stance to take, Roger.
Well, here's the reason why I asked you if you were going to comment on his racial comment, and then you said no. Why would I? It was because you were the one that made this big scene about how you're going to call out racism wherever you see it, and you're going to be bold,
I
and you're going to.
never said that. You
Oh,
putting
oh,
words in my mouth. I never
okay,
said that.
got it. Okay, okay. All right. I'm going to start recording rooms that you're in because now you want to walk back the words that you say. It's fucking hilarious.
I
You
never said I'm gonna call out racism anywhere I see it. I
you
never said that.
Oh, hold
Not
on.
one time did I
Let me
say that.
ask you this: do you think Kelly is a racist?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, he already said I was.
Yeah. And do you think MJ is a racist?
MJ or MG?
MJ, the guy that utilized the racist term that you didn't want to critique, do you think that he's a racist?
I think he's a troll. If you heard prior to that, when he said something about brother, I told him like, you're not my brother. Cause like he was just speaking against what I
Mhm.
was saying and what you guys were saying. Like, no, so I
Interesting.
believe he's just a fucking troll.
So Hikima, let me ask you this: so if you use a racist term and you're a troll, it's okay. Um, so when is it wrong to use a racist term, in your opinion?
It's always wrong to use it, but I'm not the person to call it out every time because I don't
Yeah,
call it out every time. If
got
I
it.
did, I would never shut up. Y'all would have to kick me off the stage because there's so much racist shit gets said on these stages, and I can't respond to all of it. But
Can you give me an example? Can you
I
give me an
damn sure
example?
won't defend racism toward white people. I would not defend
Mm.
that when you guys never defend racism toward black people.
Can you? Oh, wait, we actually condemn it. Um,
Hakima, can you not do the you guys, please?
yeah, it sounds too much like you people.
But I mean it when I say you guys, though. Like I'm literally talking about you guys, the
Okay, but
mods. I'm literally talking about you guys.
Hakima, I'm going to backstep you. Okay, you agreed. You agreed with the comment that I made, and that is that I don't believe that I've said anything racist on this app deliberately. And you've actually agreed. You said no. You've never seen me, never heard me say anything racist on this app. Correct?
I definitely said that, but I've had there have been times where people said racist shit,
Yeah.
and you didn't call them out on it at
Yeah,
all. And so like
I'll
there
accept.
have been those
I'll
times.
accept that. I'll accept that, and
Hold
Okay,
that's
on. Can we
cool.
fair.
get an example? Can we get an example though?
I would have to check my diary that I don't keep. Like I'm not here to document race. I'm literally here because I enjoy your
So it
rooms. I'm not
happens
I'm
all
not
the
here
time
to
that
document
you have zero
everybody's
examples.
racism. So no, I don't
So
have
wait,
to document.
hold on. But let me just get this straight. It happens all the time, but you have zero examples.
I mean, I would be lying if I can document everybody's lack of calling out a racist. I would be lying if I
I'm
said I
not
can call
asking you
out every
to,
moment.
to document or recite every example. I'm asking you for one example. Actually, how about this? Give me an example of how Kelly is a racist.
The shit she say out of her mouth, the dismissive tone, the cockiness she have toward me to try to point out I'm a retard when I have never said nothing retarded. Like argue my point, but she attacks me all the
Wait,
time out of no.
hold on,
Can I
Hikima.
finish? I can't finish. Okay.
You can, but I just want to address the fact that you said you never said anything retarded. You doubt the shape of the Earth.
And that's not fucking retarded. You tell
And
me
so
if the
when
earth is
people call
moving.
you a retard when you come here with your global denialist theory, and then they call you retarded, you then say that, well, that must be because of my race. If for you to assume that that had to do with your race, it makes me think that
When
maybe
I say,
you're the
I
racist.
never said that though. I never said that the people that's talk about me and my globe tonight got anything to do with race. Never have I said that. Like you make these fake ass straw mans. Like, come on, right? Like you are smarter than that. I never put that to
I'm
race.
giving you reasons of why someone might
No,
call you a
don't give
retard.
me a reason about nothing. Now you made a point and you act like I'm talking about somebody calling me out on the whole globe Earth flat Earth thing. Is me being calling somebody about race? I never said that, Roger. Like be a grown man, dude.
No,
Stop
no,
having me hand in the
you
PTR,
said
dude.
when I asked
Like
for an
grow up.
example of how Kelly is racist, you said that she's dismissive and calls you retarded. I just gave you an example of how somebody could refer to you as retarded and it have nothing to do with race.
There've been multiple times when Kelly has been so racist that when she was at Karen, when she accused me of calling her a bitch, when there was 50 people in the room and nobody heard me call her a bitch. Like, why would she just blatantly lie on me like that to gain support? That was some racist shit right there.
Well,
How is that
I,
racist? I'm sure. I'm sorry.
yeah, I've also, I don't know how that's racist, but I've also never lied. There was one time where I didn't know exactly the words that came out of your mouth, but I heard some of them and I didn't appreciate them. And I moved you off the stage, but I didn't even say it to the stage. I said it to one person because they brought you back up on stage. I am not the one who broadcasts my bullshit to the whole fucking all of Clubhouse like you do. I don't do that. I make it a point not to do that. You can ask everyone in here. If I have something to say to you, I say it. Otherwise, I don't fucking want to have drama about fucking retarded people and their inability to behave. I want to have conversations. You find the fucking best ways to get in the way of that, Hakima. That's my broad issue with you. I do think you're a dumbass. That has nothing to do with any other fucking quality about you as a person.
And I definitely hear what you're saying. But the fact that you told me to shut the fuck up, and I said, no, you shut the fuck up.
Hakima, I
Oh,
have
yeah,
told
yeah,
many
exactly. You
people to
don't want to
shut
hear
the
the
fuck
truth.
up.
My point exactly. You don't want to hear the truth. You told me to shut the fuck up. I told you to shut the fuck up. You kicked me off the stage. Somebody brought me back on the stage. And you go to proceed to say, I kicked you off the stage because you called me a bitch. You are a liar.
Hakima,
You
you're
lied,
lying. You're
Kelly. Like
you're
you
lying right
you
now.
you a liar. You are a fucking
Hakima,
liar.
you're lying right now. You're
Oh, now
lying.
I'm lying. Yeah, okay.
I want
Yeah,
somebody
okay.
else to tell me when I said Hakima called me a bitch.
Of course, nobody. You guys got sycophants in this room that's not going to stand up against
Hakima,
y'all.
I don't have sycophants. Hakima,
You
I've had
do. You
threatened.
do. You do.
Hakima, shut your fucking dumb face up.
You
I've
you
had people
shut the
threaten to
fuck up. You shut the
please,
fuck up.
please,
No, don't say
Please.
please. You shut the fuck up.
Hakima, shut
And
your
I'm
dumb
and
ass
I'm
up.
way smarter than you.
Hakima, I've had people threaten to kill me on this fucking app. I don't know why your stupid fucking piece of trash ass refuses to fucking listen to people when they give you mild fucking pushback. They give you little hints about what a fucking idiot asshole you are. You are incapable of receiving any kind of fucking feedback. That's a problem that you have. It doesn't need to be my problem. I've allowed it to be my problem for a long fucking time because I was hoping that there'd be something beneficial about you being in these rooms. I have come to the conclusion that there's not anymore. You have worn out your fucking bullshit. You've worn out your interruptions, your fucking rambling on, your inability to like chill the fuck out. You have conspiratorial fucking ridiculous beliefs, and you never shut the fuck up. You think you should reply to every motherfucker. So I've come to the conclusion that you are a fucking dumbass and you bring no value. That's why I don't like you. It has nothing to do with you being a dude, you being black, you being anything else, Hakima. Otherwise, I think you're a pretty nice person, but unfortunately, we don't know people in real life on this app. We just deal with the bullshit we hear, and that's all that you are is bullshit. And I'm still waiting for somebody to talk about the time that I said Hakima called me a bitch and that wasn't true. I don't ever remember saying that to any stage.
Well, I have to say this. Hakeem, if it makes you feel better, Kelly's told me to shut the fuck up and kick me off stages. Yet I still love and respect her.
Um, you know what? She's actually kicked me off a stage and told me to shut the fuck up as well.
I think when she doesn't tell you shut the fuck up, you have something to worry about.
That proves that Kelly is racist. All right, because clearly both of you guys are black, so she must be racist.
Well, my people were conquered by the Moors, so I am part black. So Kelly, I think they're flipping me here. I think you are a racist.
I like everybody on stage, and I like Hakima. Where is Hakima? He's gone.
I think that makes you a racist, Doc. Um, you said you like everybody on stage and you like Hakima, thinking that Hakima's on stage. So I think you're trying to indicate that Hakima's less than a person. So therefore, you're one of the worst racists on Clubhouse, Doc.
Wow, shots fired.
I have been called a misogynist before, which I'm still dealing with in therapy. But other than that, I don't know. Maybe a couple other things.
I just wanted to say really quickly, my like generally speaking, like I said, I like Hakima, but I'm really sick of him fucking doing the shit that he's been doing regularly lately, which is telling everyone they're racist when he doesn't understand, when he can't conceptualize anything that's happening in a conversation. He resorts to being offended and bitching and moaning and ruining the conversation. I'm fucking sick of it. I don't like that shit from anybody. And I'll be honest, you know what? Maybe I'm a sexist because I really don't fucking like it from men. So that's why I'm pissed off at his bullshit and I'm sick of it. And I don't like being pissed off and sick of shit. So I just
Can someone bring Hakima back up?
Sure.
It's okay to be honest. You don't like me. And honestly, at this point, I used to like you, but I don't like you either. So you can.
That you don't like me. Don't try to cover it up. I like it. You don't like me, and it's fucking okay. I'm okay with that.
Hakima, shut the fuck up. I was replying to somebody saying that they were like, I like Hakima, he's cool, whatever. And I was just saying, like, dude, this is my only issue with you. But I get it, you're emotional. Please go ahead, keep being emotional.
Yeah, I'm definitely emotional. Definitely fucking emotional when I'm dealing with some lying racist ass people. You know what I'm saying? They want to sit here and gaslight me as if I'm the
Oh
problem.
my God.
Somehow I'm a racist.
Hakima, I moved your stupid ass down. Nobody wants to hear your fucking everybody's a racist. Do you realize how fucking marginalizing that is? Like people who actually have to deal with fucked up racism, and then you to be on here bitching because you're a fucking moron and people don't like how dumb you are, and you're calling them a racist for fucking being sick of it. Go fuck yourself, Hakima. Go fuck yourself. That would take up more time and probably be more entertaining than this app that has a bunch of rooms that you probably can't even fucking understand the conversations that are being had. I don't know, do that or go fucking find a globe and figure out what the fuck that is.
That was a reference to Hakima being a flat earther.
This room because I'm not being yelled at.
Hey, Anthony, can I get
And
your
Brent, hold
perspective?
on really quickly.
Hold on.
Brent, you don't need to feel sorry for my husband because I wouldn't marry a fucking moron. So he's safe.
Awesome. Anthony, let me ask you a question. As a black man on the stage, do you find Kelly to be a racist?
No, I think Kelly's equal opportunity. She shits on everybody. That's my personal opinion. I love Kelly. Kelly is fucking crazy. But, Hakeem is my guy, but I may come across as a Kelly sycophant. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly,
Mm.
I love Kelly. I also love Akima, but I'll say Kelly, like, one time she went, I mean, she is an equal opportunity. Like, I think there was someone, I don't know if it was Eric Weinstein or someone with like a lot of quote unquote clout who got on stage or something. It wasn't Eric Weinstein, someone else who was obnoxious. And Kelly just threw him off the stage. She warned him and then threw them off the stage. And I was so impressed because I'm like, I would have succumbed to my insecurity and need to kind of flatter whoever I thought was the big deal at the moment. So it was actually, I got to think who that was. They'll come to me.
Jordan, do you think Kelly should be in the Clubhouse Hall of Fame?
Oh, definitely. She and Roger are legends together and in their own right. God bless them. I think I should be in it too, though, by the way. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I think, at least in the spirit of diversity, equity, and inclusion, we're going to have at least one woman in the induction class. And
Well,
so
we got Monica, Roger.
oh, oh, oh. All right. Well, that's going to be tough competition. Kelly versus Monica. Can we be honest? And I don't mean this as an insult towards women, but there's very few women that have like opened rooms and led conversations consistently on this app. Like, I don't know if they burned out quick. Maybe they're smarter and they went and got busy doing something else in the real world. But like, there's just not a lot of women that have like held it down on this app. Like, I honestly like give me one. Like in early Clubhouse, there was Hunter Shackelford, and in late Clubhouse, we got Kelly. Like, I mean, like who else? What women are opening rooms?
Dude, I don't ever open rooms. I can't stand small talk enough to sit around while people come into the room.
No, but
Yeah, that's interesting.
you moderate it like a champ. But here's the question: who holds a green bean that happens to have a vagina on this app that runs good rooms? Like I mean, it's very short list.
Well, I've been called a cunt a few times. I've got a green bean now.
No, I'm asking this question seriously. I would really love for somebody to tell me who am I leaving out that has a green bean that moderates discussions on this app with a vagina. That I mean, if Monica was here, she would say, I've got the recordings," but I don't know of any women that moderate
So,
these discussions.
I know
I'll
one.
give you one. I'll give you one. Patty. You know, Patty and I, we you know,
You mean
oil and
the Kamala Harris supporter lady?
yes, she
Oh,
has
Jesus
pretty big
Christ.
rooms, and they're consistent, and she's, it's her club, so I'll give her props. You know what I'm saying? We don't rock, but I'll give her props.
You know what? I've spent a total of about 5 minutes in those rooms, and I shouldn't say anything bad about her, but the collective wisdom on her stages is. I feel like I would learn more in a fifth grade class. Put it that way.
Oh, by the
Well,
way,
I'm
So,
saying,
I did actually get a vote. Okay, so Michael Speaks said Rowan would be the woman you're talking for. I'm the person you're looking for, Roger. Thanks, Michael Speaks. Look, I hope one day you can tell the difference between a man and a woman. It'll happen one day, I'm sure.
when I first met Rowan, he hated me, and no, I didn't think he was racist, but he hated me.
I never hated you. That's not fair. No, no, no. Never hated you. We had challenging conversations. That's for sure. We got through that. No, I
You
really
hated my
appreciate you.
use of emoticons. Remember you were like, why the fuck are you using those emoticons?
That be the truth. But I'm asking Michael to come up here. He doesn't seem to want to come up here. Michael, my voice should probably give it away that I'm a man. But I guess you're attracted to women who've got deep voices like myself. That's all the power to you, man.
There's a woman from. Sorry, I'm eating. There's a woman from South
Hold on, hold
Africa.
on, hold on,
Sorry.
hold on, Dr. Jordan. Kamala Harris says, I don't think Roger really counts as moderating or running rooms if he rarely has more than 50 people in here. You know, this is a good point. It's been a while since I've had, you know, multiple thousands of people in the room. Maybe it's something that I've done wrong. Maybe it's the app's just dying. But like honestly, I don't see any big rooms anymore. My boy Lou runs big rooms. That's the only big room that I ever see anymore. Did you guys see any rooms that consistently, get more than multiple hundreds of people at least? Uh,
Ion,
how often does he run a room anymore?
not often.
Right. So Lou is the only one that really does that, and I take my hat off to Lou. I think Lou does a good job. I think Lou does a great job. But uh, biblical smoke, I'm not even sure what that is.
Look, MG's bringing up a good point. She's saying that size is not important. She wants to hear about she wants to hear about quality. Okay, so quality, MG. Like, what's the, what like what are the quality rooms that are like smaller? I guess that you appreciate. I knew it could bite you.
Yeah, healthy debates and Roger and Kelly and in Jay's rooms and Rowan, you too. You guys make the best rooms. Let's just be honest. Like the rooms in the hallway are trash. They're gossip rooms. That's why I don't go in them. It's a bunch of banging rooms. The biggest rooms are people fighting. Like, no thanks. So what are y'all talking about? Like, I think we need to make a distinction between quality versus quantity. Sure, you'll have, I don't know, 600 people, 700 people in a room when they're fighting. This is not world star hip hop. Yeah, so I'll just land there.
Uncle Steve doesn't have a room that compares to this, but he definitely has a following and he has some good content.
You know whose
I
rooms I
agree.
liked? I liked Gary Bumgarner's rooms before he stopped with the chat. Once he closed the chat down, those rooms turned to shit. Like it's like because that's a part of it now. It's like you got to be able to respond to what's happening. And then after somebody makes a comment, then he moves them down immediately so there's no discourse that happens. His rooms, like some people might disagree with me. I thought his rooms when he first got here were refreshing because he was consistent at a specific time. He had people that had to help him moderate. Some of them added very little value. Others were really cool. But he would have the topic of the day. You could tell that he really thought about like what topic he wanted to discuss. He moderated it very tightly. But then unfortunately, the animals come out and decide to like just attack him, and he didn't have the patience for it, so he was just like, okay, well, the only way I could deal with it is I'm going to make these drastic changes where he closed the chat and then he removes people after they share. I now think his rooms are some of the worst rooms on this app, and it's not because of him. I still think he's thoughtful and I like him a lot. I just think that he overcorrected and it ruined the rooms.
Yeah, totally agree with you. But there's a particularly interesting thing about that chat, which was that the people who are like generally would be talking shit on stage, they didn't want to go on his stage because even the structure he has now, it wasn't quite as structured back then, but it was still pretty structured. And so the stage was like, it wasn't the place where you were going to be able to as the kids say, get your shit off. But so your stage assholes were in the chat, and when people have time to think about the bullshit that they're gonna type out, it just gets better. And so it was really an amazing chat for that reason. But there was also this like, well, I call it the boomer room now. And so when you had that kind of like boomer vibe on stage, plus the normal stage smoke in the chat, and then just your lame the people who are just spamming the chat, they generally just didn't engage in that chat, so everything was elevated, um because the stage itself was very on topic, people weren't interrupting, um but without the chat, it's like the same people kind of saying the same thing and no one can respond. And I agree, it's not Gary's fault. He just kept making rules to try and bypass the clubhouse way.
If he would have just asked, hey, what do you think I could do to solve this problem? All he had to do, because he has multiple mods, all he had to do is delegate some responsibility. Just say, find somebody and say, hey, if somebody's going crazy in the chat, go ahead and just delete their comments immediately, right? And if it's too crazy, go ahead and remove that person from the room. If he would have just had somebody moderate the chat rather than turn it down, it would have been a much better decision. And then the back and forth, all he needed was somebody that could be the enforcer, that allow a little bit of back and forth, but if they violate the rules, somebody that could just come over top and say, hey, that's not how we roll here. And if it's a chronic problem, just remove them. I think he could have. I actually think that he's one of the guys that if he would have made subtle tweaks, his rooms would have grew instead of shrink, the way that they have, because I do think that the way that he thinks about bringing the topic up and allowing people to give their full thought on something, and then he engages with it directly based on his response to what they're saying. I thought that was amazing. I really think that he's somebody that with small tweaks could still be a huge value add to social audio.
Hey, Roger, how's it going?
He's a professional broadcaster, Gary, so he can't really afford to have. I don't think he can afford to let anything slide, right?
Well, he specifically said because a lot of what he talks about is it relates back to articles that have to do with like what he's going to talk about, discuss, whatever, write about. I'm not sure. I don't know if he does like I don't know what exactly he does, but basically it ties back to work so easily that he basically cleared doing these rooms on Clubhouse through work, and the chat became a liability in terms of that.
Good evening.
MJ's back.
Hello.
Hey, Smire. How you doing?
How are we going to end
Hello.
racism, guys? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, you've got to have a look at your definition to start off with, because you seem to have made up your own definition. So I think you need to be able to sort it out in your own mind.
I think that the starting point, MJ, would be for you to describe in detail this racial hierarchy that you speak of.
Yeah, you'd have to pay me.
There you go. So he doesn't know. He just throws words around.
Yeah, okay. Hey, MJ, I'm curious. If, let's say, we're in New York City and there's a bunch of, I don't know, Polish people that are being picked on and then being marginalized by people who identify as being black Americans. Let's say they're being prejudiced and discriminatory, and they're antagonizing these group of Poles. Is that not counted? Like, are they not allowed to be able to call that racism, in your opinion?
You said they were specifically Polish, right? It
Well, I'm
wasn't
saying
just
Polish.
all
Yeah.
discriminate white people. That wouldn't be racism.
Yeah,
Okay,
plus
so that.
poles are subhuman anyways. They don't count.
Oh my God, the expert on subhumanism. Awesome. The voice of reason is actually right. Okay, got it. So you're
I'll give
suggesting,
you a better
okay,
example. I'll give you a
so
better
you're
example.
suggesting that a minority ethnic group, okay, that is being subject to prejudice, discrimination, and antagonism does not qualify at all to be deemed subject to racism. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not along the lines of race, the way you described it.
Okay, so
But
here's where the problem
I'll
is.
give you a better I'll give you a better example.
No, hang on, hang on,
If
hang on. Pause
Okay,
for a second,
no
MJ.
worries.
Hang on for a second, dude. Okay, here's the thing. The problem, right, with this is you. Your definition, right, and the way you want to define racism is not congruent with the rest of society's definition that has been accepted by multiple dictionaries. Okay, maybe it's worthwhile before you give an opinion on something and before making a statement, right, which makes you look foolish, and I mean this very respectfully, is to be able to do some research and have a look at what the definition of racism is from multiple sources, and then revisit the conversation. Then we can actually have a look at, okay, how can racism be looked at and how can it be fixed?
Yeah, I know how racism functions.
They
You
actually
don't
changed the
understand the fucking
definition.
definition.
Every way in which that I've described racism functions
MJ,
has been
you
accurate.
don't
So
have the definition. You can't look at a saucepan, okay, is a saucepan. It's not a sauce and also a pan. Okay, it's called a saucepan. A butterfly is not a piece of butter and a fly. Okay, we have a definition for these things. Have a look at the definition, see what you can find. You know what? Please, let's do this and make this a practical exercise and utilize our time and maybe connecting with some learning opportunities and just acknowledge that as a possibility. Just have a look. Go to numerous websites and do a Google search on definition of racism. See what you come up with. All right? Can we do that, MJ?
yeah, like I said, I understand how racism functions, and I described it to a T. Um,
I
Yeah.
mean, what you've described is a system, and you keep on focusing
Jesus.
on the
Well, to
system.
be fair, they did change the
So,
definition
Well,
of
hang on,
so,
Pepe,
racism.
Pepe,
They
so,
did
Pepe,
change it to his
Pepe.
so,
Hang on,
definition.
wait. You
so
can jump in at any time. Just wait for
So
Brent to
I
finish. Okay, go.
concur. I concur. There was a racial hierarchical system. It was codified, throughout, 1800s, 1900s, up until about the Nazi era. Absolutely, there was a thing called race science. All that stuff is true, but the word you would like refer to that system is like race science, race hierarchy, or something like that, if that's what you're talking about. The way the vernacular people or vernacular use racism, it is racial discriminate or is discrimination based off of race or is bias based off of race. And I guess the question you haven't been able to answer is why the vernacular meaning of racism isn't valid, and why should racism mean this hierarchical system that typically, if somebody wants to refer to that, they're going to use other words like racial hierarchy or something like that.
Yeah. The reason why these you know textbook or what I would call dictionary definitions are inappropriate is because they're lacking. They're missing. They're missing full context, right? If you're not going to look at something in its totality, right? It's like a definition of the United States, and just saying that, oh, okay, it's the nation
Okay,
state in North America. Just you're being very, very, very vague, right? You're not really understanding, right, the true context of what this thing is, how it was
okay.
formulated, and
MJ,
how.
at the risk of
Sure.
being called a racist here, I am going to interject. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to offer this as an opportunity for you to be able to, and maybe for all of us to be able to have a learning experience here. I ask you, right? Would you please go and do a search on Google for the definition of racism? I don't want to do it for you, okay? But I think it'd be interesting to see what your thoughts are, what your feelings are about racism, what your ideas are, versus what numerous other entities that have created this definition that have been accepted by the rest of society. Okay, and I'm going to pass it over to Samaya. MJ, you're welcome to be a part of this conversation. I would like you to center yourself and do the research, and then maybe come back. We'll have a conversation about it. In the meantime, if
I don't
people,
need to research
hang on,
racism.
okay,
I don't need
great.
to do
If you
it.
don't want to, great, then that's awesome. You can stay out of the conversation. In the meantime, if there are people who are still awake who want to have a look at the definition of racism, and maybe just do a quick search and put it into the chat. Okay,
That's what I was
one or
gonna
two
do.
definitions, and let's do that. Okay, because it seems like MJ is not interested in being part of it, and I don't want to do all the fucking work. Samaya, and then
So,
Brent.
oh, okay.
No, I'm gonna do the homework and just post it in chat right now, so you could pass me.
Oh, okay. Can I read it out loud?
Doesn't
I have it up.
isn't the second definition of
Yeah,
Merriam-Webster
MJ,
tell you?
what I said to you stands. MJ, what I say to you stands. Okay, you're welcome to join the conversation, but you just keep on
Well, that's
repeating
what I was
yourself.
doing. That's
Hang on,
what I was
okay, hang
doing.
on. You're not going to interrupt me. You're not going to interrupt anybody else either, for that matter. Okay, we've had this, been down this road. There's simple rules. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome to be part of this conversation under the proviso that you actually go and do a little bit of research. I've even made the research a little bit easier for you by asking people in the channel, in this conversation, to be able to put links in the chat so you can read about it. In the meantime, other people who have been waiting very patiently and want to be able to speak as well.
Oh,
Smile and then TC.
yes.
Actually, Pepe, you want to chime in as well, that's fine. So we'll go Smile first and then Pepe and then TC. Go.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I did get the definition for everyone. Okay, so it's racism, so prejudice, discrimination, antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person of people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is a minority or marginalized. So the last part where it says minority and marginalized, when you look at it from a Marxist perspective, that's where they say that black people can't be racist because they don't hold power. That's what the new definition of racism is, that I think people don't like and find problematic. But the original term of racism would be that black people can be racist and also white people can be racist. But what I also want to add is, what about all the people in between? Because the world is not just black or white. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Yeah, Samaya, look, I don't understand, even with that definition, why you could look at that and say, well, no, black people cannot be racist. Or am I getting something wrong here?
I think someone needs to read the definition of typically.
Sure, I can say this. There was a big push. I'm the guy, the racist, who's had these
Oh, we know
literally
that.
hundreds of hours, yeah, of these conversations. Now, starting several years ago, there was a change, a widely adopted and by both academia.
Hold on, Pepe. Listen, it's not a flex to have uh, frequent bad takes on a particular topic, but go ahead.
That's fine. So now there was a widely adopted definition, a change,
Are
and
you
I
going to make us
posted.
hear Pepe? Come on. Like, listen, I just want to be honest.
I didn't even
Nobody on
get to
Clubhouse.
finish one
Why is he
fucking
being
point.
interrupted? Let him finish. Jesus.
Yeah, please.
I just wanted, all I was trying to say, Pepe, and I'm so sorry that I interrupted you. I'm not really. But I am glad that you fucking freaked out like that. There are some things that you're going to repeatedly say that we all fucking know. And I just wanted to point that out so that maybe you could save yourself some breath and energy.
Yeah, amazing. So, Butch Dyke Woffin is running wild tonight, but
Pepe, I'm not in the mood for more stupid people. I've already dealt with
Is
stupidity
he
all
Butch?
night.
Really?
Um, so you can stay down there. I can promise you, you're not going to bring anything interesting to the conversation.
Well, what's funny is like somebody like himself that he holds a lot of racist views, and he hosts conversations about race. You would have thought that he might have been able to say something that was provocative, but instead he wanted to like rehash like some like textbook version of what you would learn in like in your employee handbook that's telling people how to be kind to others, and this is the way you ought to think about it. It's like he went back to like freshman year college discussion about race. The one guy that holds all of these crazy opinions could have said something provocative that set the room off, and he decided like to just like limp into the conversation. That was weird. And then when you paused him, to hey, can we fast forward to to relevant parts of the conversation? He totally crashed out. I understand that he is the cup of tea as some of the people in this room, like the Matt Cools of the world, think that Pepe saying the N word is like entertainment and content. I've never felt that those conversations were entertaining. I've never felt that those conversations did anything other than expose people for what they are. And so, if I would say this, Pepe can participate in these conversations when he wants to, and actually add some value. But when he's doing the whole like, hey, I'm going to trigger people on race, it's that part is boring. That's very boring, and you can find all the boring people in the room that think that that's cool. They might even think that it's Matt cool. Oh, and Matt Cool says that he's never said the N word. He's actually said the N word in rooms that I've been in where I've had to throw him out of the room. So what you just said is a fucking lie. But you think he's cool. You think he's Matt cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just hold it really quickly. Listen, I'm not even saying that Pepe is repeating shit from fucking like senior year. God no, I don't know how. I think Pepe and I are close to the same age, or something he learned in college. He's talking about shit that people discussed in like season 3 through season 8 of Clubhouse. We all fucking know it, and he was spending so much time saying it as though it's the first time anyone's ever heard it. That's all I was saying. Like, let's get past this. Like, we do not need a fucking history lesson about every motherfucking thing. Everybody knows that there are different definitions. I know you weren't in here earlier, Pepe, but we were forced to go through this earlier. And even then, it was done much more quickly. That's all I was trying to point out. But you called me what, a dumb cunt dyke or something like that. Okay, Pepe, I'm actually married, but whatever.
So at
Yeah,
the
so Pepe
expense.
mentioned an article where the ADL describes racism having a historical system of racial privilege and its modern legacy. I think that's pretty close. I mean, who better to really describe racism other than a racist. I mean, if he really understands what it is and what he's doing, why not let him speak? I don't know why not. But yeah, systemic racism is a part of the definition of racism, not only according to the ADL, but also according to Merriam-Webster. I don't know why you guys are pretending that this is not a
Oh, hang on,
part of
wait.
what it
Did
is.
you actually look up Merriam-Webster? Because I've also done exactly the same thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's up
Okay,
right
can you
now on my
read out the
screen.
definition and maybe I can check it over here as well.
Sure,
Let's do this.
the system of oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another. To be is a political or social system, a political or social system founded on racism and designed to execute its principles. I mean, this we're talking about systems here, right? That's exactly what I was talking about earlier today. I don't know I don't see what the problem is. But you asked for this. I don't know. Did you want me to? Did you know
Well,
that I was going to prove you wrong?
that's what I wanted to touch on here. I wanted to understand Rohan's point because I wasn't clearly understanding his point. Rohan, are you suggesting that racism can be can be properly defined as racial discrimination, or are you suggesting that what he's saying is some aberration of the term? Because I think there's multiple definitions. One would include MJ's definition as well. Are you suggesting that that's invalid because it requires a systemic uh, effect on the
Yeah,
definition?
no. Okay. Thanks for asking the question, TC. Because it's a good question. I don't care for anybody's definition on this subject. Okay, what I'm interested in the definitions that I found, right, across multiple dictionaries and resources that we could all actually look at and say, you know what, there's absolutely no bias involved in this. And when I have entered this conversation of racism at the very start, going back like 3.5 years ago, on this app, what I first recognized was there's the way it works, the way it operates in America is actually quite different to other places in the world. And it's based on the history of black Americans. And I get that. This isn't about anything to do with systemic related issues. The definition that I referred to, and I'll say it again, is something that I found quite like with a level of congruence across multiple resources that effectively identified that there are characteristics. Well, it's characterized by showing prejudice, discrimination, and this is straight from the dictionary as well, the Oxford one, by the way. Characterized by or showing prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism against a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is minority or marginalized. And that's the definition that I actually found. Look, across the board, that sort of works for me. If you can have a look at other definitions in other dictionaries and other resources, you'll probably find very similar wording, but the ideas surrounding the word racism pretty much come to exactly what I've said.
Okay, so but Rohan, I guess just to quibble with that definition a bit, it definitely qualifies the typical nature of racism, being that it's perpetuated on minorities and marginalized communities. Do you discredit that portion of the definition, or do you consider it to be like
Oh,
a
TC, not
unnecessary clause?
no. TC, I accept that definition pretty much wholly. Okay, it's got. You're absolutely right. It's got to do with marginalized groups. Okay, ethnic groups, racial groups. It includes showing prejudice, discrimination, and also antagonism, especially to minorities that are marginalized.
Maybe it'll help since a lot of people that are on stage now are not in the room. This entire conversation, as fucking tired as it is happening because the claim was made that a black individual cannot be racist toward a white individual.
I would
What
agree, Kelly. I would be inclined to agree. Based on Rohan's definition, a black individual typically wouldn't be racist against a white individual. And if we're using those terms, I think you could come to no other conclusion than that. If we're going to use the word typically, meaning like regularly or with routine nature, you would not you would not experience a black person being racist against a white person. It
It's
just
TC,
weird
I'm gonna
because
hang
I've
on. I'm gonna.
experienced it. I've experienced it. So I just thought I would go ahead and say that I must be weird.
Yeah,
well,
TC,
you've
I'm gonna
experienced
push back because
discriminate.
it
Wait,
seems
well,
TC.
can I
Hang on,
ask
hang on,
Kelly a question?
hang on. No, no, hang
Let me
on
just
for a
ask
sec.
Kelly this question real quick because
I'm
she
gonna
said she's
push back. I'm
experienced
gonna
it.
push back
Are
because I
you
don't
saying
want to
you've
forget.
experienced?
TC, can you please just go with me on this one, okay? I'm going to push back for a very specific reason. It seems like either you didn't hear what I said, which I repeated a few times, or alternatively you don't accept that that is the definition. It's got to be one of the two. This isn't about a white versus black or a black versus white related issue. Okay, it's not based on just race or color. This is based on ethnic groups as well. That's the reason why I asked the question
It's
earlier.
based on our brains and how they're built.
Okay,
Our brains have special parts that help us make sense of what we see by
who's
organizing,
actually
categorizing, and
Stephanie?
labeling it.
Stephanie, I want to hear you. Just let me finish if that's okay with you. Do you mind?
You aren't
Okay,
letting
great.
anyone else finish, so why should I?
Oh,
Being
okay. You
considerate.
you don't. Well, I think I'm
The
pretty
way you are
considerate,
being
Stephanie.
considerate.
Hold on, hold
Yeah,
on, hold on,
great,
hold
Stephanie.
on, hold on, hold on. I think this is a good time for me to explain how Clubhouse works. Um, Typically you have people that will open a room, they'll give it a title, have a bit of a topic, and then there's folks that are responsible for kind of curating the conversation. We call those moderators. You can identify them visually by seeing them at the top of the page, as well as the little green bean that's next to their name. These moderators are responsible for determining whose turn it is to speak, and calling upon people when it's their turn. And so I would love for Stephanie to come back up. But Stephanie, you're not going to dictate the terms of the room to a moderator. Hopefully, and I understand that you're probably new. You got one friend on here, and so and it's Samia. So you're probably off to a bad start already. But let me get you up here on the stage, and we'll
What?
see if you can participate.
That hurt my feelings.
Okay, Roger Kelly, I need you to take over for 5 10 minutes.
Well, if I
let's
could
let's kick
just
hold on,
finish.
TC, hold on. Let's do something we don't typically do. We're going to pander to the new person, the one that was really eager to jump in with something to say. Hey, Stephanie, why don't you take 90 seconds uninterrupted and go ahead and throw all your thoughts all over the stage.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. This is me being considerate. I wanted to explain that our brains are hardwired to organize and categorize and label things differently. That ranges from the visual cortex, which is in the back of the brain. It's like your brain's camera, takes in all the colors and the shapes and the movements, and then you move over to your temporal lobe. That's your label maker. And we all see that differently because of what we've been exposed to. It's how we name things, and we know that's a dog, or that's a tree, right? Then we get into the next portion of our lobe. It's on the top of our brain, and that's like the map organizer. And it's how we figure out where things are in space, and knowing if something is near or far. And then we have the prefrontal cortex, which is our chief organizer. And it helps us decide what's important, what to focus on, and figures out where to store information later. Those parts work together like a team. When you see something, they help you know what it is, where it is, and how it fits into what you already know. And that is important in the conversation of talking about why we all see it so differently. Because you're reading the same definition, correct? We've been told to do the homework. Why are we seeing it so differently? Because of how our brains are built. And
Well,
when we can,
Stephanie, you did
yes,
ask the question, so I want to say this. Like, I don't think that you're totally wrong. I actually thought you were going in a different direction with like explaining all of this, and unless you think that Black people and white people are biologically different, in with the first direction I thought you were going in, then like broadly explaining how racism happens
no,
doesn't
no, no,
matter.
I'm
So
talking
hold on.
about
I
humans
know.
and our
Rather,
brain.
I understand that you are wasting time. I was trying to skip over making all of these statements. I get that's not where you were going, but the same kind of thing applies here. It doesn't, it, unless you're saying that Black people and white people are reading definitions differently, anybody can actually read a definition differently from the person next to them. So I still don't think what you're saying applies.
That is what I'm saying. Because the lens of someone that is colored is different than the lens of someone that is white. That's why
Okay, so you're saying that
systemically it
black
looks
people and
different.
white people are biologically different.
No, I'm saying all of our brains are built and hardwired the same way. But depending on the life you've experienced and what you've been exposed to is going to impact the way the four parts of our brains collectively as a human
Okay,
operate
this
and
is
see
equally as rich.
things.
So you think that a person of any particular race is only going to be able to experience life in a particular way. It can't be experienced in the same way a person of another race can experience. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't even know what you're saying.
Because
My name is Annalisa
that's what
Cruz.
would
I've been
have
working
to
for
be
my home for 30
required for
years.
you to make this
And
point, Stephanie.
okay.
Yes, and also I think if you say it like you're saying it as though you're a televangelist, I think you'd be more persuasive if you brought some more objectivity and neutrality to your tone.
Sure. It's very difficult
What are
for
we
me
talking
as
about?
someone with
She's fine,
dissociative
y'all.
identity
I don't know,
disorder.
Kelly.
So,
I certainly I certainly see her point, Kelly. I mean, listen, you and I we've agreed with more than we haven't recently,
No, no, no.
but
I
on
get it.
this
Well, then let me
topic,
ask you. Let me ask you the same questions then, TC. But I'll ask them in a different direction. Excuse me, not in the opposite order. Do you believe it is true that two people of different races, or that people of different races have lives that are completely separate? That someone who is of one race can't grow up and experience anything the same as someone of another race? Are you saying that the only people that can share experiences are people within the same race?
no, of course not. But I don't think that's what she was saying either. I think what
That is
she was saying
exactly what
was
she was saying would require that to be true. And that is what I confirmed with her.
no, but Kelly, I think you're wrong on this because I
Then
think what
she's
she's
not
saying
okay.
is
TC, maybe I'm wrong. Here's the thing. You can explain it differently. I reiterated what she was explaining, and I said it practically rather than saying it like I had some sort of a personality disorder and reading as if I was like
ma'am,
experiencing some sort of
ma'am,
psychological issue.
ma'am,
well, I think there
ma'am.
is Trump. But one
Okay,
second, but I
hold
think
on just a
there's
sec. I've got to remove this fucking lunatic from the stage. But I want to hear how you explain it, TC, because I can appreciate the fact that you heard something in that. So go ahead.
well, I think there's collective trauma, and I think that trauma can certainly be passed down into how people perceive the world or their worldview, and that can certainly inform their definitions or interpretations of certain things. And I think potentially what she's saying, and I agree with her, is that the reason why you would typically get a black person to understand racism so differently than you would a white person in this conversation, even though we're dealing with the same word and the same definition, is because you have to adjust for the fact that you're dealing with two lived experiences, and one lived experience is markedly different in terms of the passed down trauma and the generational trauma that informs the way that person views the world.
TC, I appreciate this, and I'm not trying to be a total cunt, even though I know I am one, and that's just the reality. Listen, what both of you are saying requires that black people and white people have completely separate experiences and perspectives on life. I am not saying that there is not a way in which the majority of one race versus another, based on all kinds of circumstances, can have separate experiences, but it would have to come down to something biological for you to tell me that there is no way that collective trauma is experienced by anybody but black people, or that can't be experienced by white people. And I know it's not always going to be the same stuff, but these kinds of definitions that are reduced to something pretty much biological, I wholly reject because they skirt so close to race science. I find them problematic.
Okay, so I
So,
think
Kelly,
certainly. Well, let me just say this real quick, and then I'll hand it to you, boss. I think there's some science related to the claim that has to do with genetic realities. And so I can find for you scientific, academics, peer reviewed sources that confirm that there are biological traumas. I mean, there's trauma that gets passed down and has a biological genetic effect on the people that is passed down on. Maybe we can grapple with that, but I think another gentleman wanted to chime in.
I think I'm reading this book. My son actually gave it to me. It's called Determined. it's got a very controversial theory, which is there is no free will. And I mean, something that I totally disagree with it on this, right now. But he makes an incredible argument that we are the combination of biology, our environment, all these things, and that they all impact us to make us who we are and what we do. An example he brings up, and
Okay,
this has,
hold on, hold
I'm
on,
gonna,
hold on. I want to make
yep,
sure that we're still on the same topic.
we are,
Sorry, I
we are,
couldn't unmute because this app, I'm going to make sure respectfully. This app sucks so much I wasn't able to unmute when you first started to jump in because I wanted to reply. And I'm going to do it right now. I apologize if this upsets anybody. You'll
yeah,
all get over
whatever.
it. This is just an app. But so the comment that you made, whatever your name is with the lips, where'd you go? Stephanie, you're probably gone. Um, if everybody's intellectual response to their circumstances is what matters when it comes to a definition, we wouldn't be able to have definitions. So if that's the point you were trying to make, then you're dumber than I thought. But
Let
if
me
that's
make a
not the
point.
point, okay, listen, I'm going to kick you off the fucking stage if you don't be quiet. I want to reset really quickly just to say that the
You're
origin
going
of
to
this
kick me
is
off the stage? Yeah,
I just did, you fucking idiot. I am so frustrated by this fucking room, and I should be. We all should be, because words like racism have a meaning. They do. They have a goddamn meaning, and they can have multiple meanings, and the meanings can change over time. But when a group of people decides that the meaning has changed, even though the rest of fucking society uses it in a completely different way, and that group of society still accepts that this new meaning means something, but it doesn't work for you to be able to apply it to one individual and not the other. Yet you want to pretend like there hasn't been a past before you ever got here, even though that's the only thing you want to bring up. You're the goddamn idiot. That's how this room started, or excuse me, this part of the conversation started. So make sure whatever it is that you're talking about now, we're not going to move away from this because you motherfuckers have beaten this into the ground. We're gonna have this conversation. We're gonna have it until this fucking room dies because of how fucking painful it is. Can black people be racist? That's it.
Yes,
Nope.
yes, they can.
No, they can't.
They cannot. Absolutely not.
Yes, they can. There are locations
What the
where
fuck?
black people, people of African descent,
And
have institutional power and are able to be racist. Outside of we're talking a global stage, right? Not just the United States, because y'all obsessed about America. There are other countries where black people of African descent have power and have used it to profile and discriminate against other groups. Stop
Just to be
acting
clear,
stupid.
mother.
That's only
I think
part
we're
of the
talking.
definition too.
I
That's just
think.
part of
I think we're talking about two different things.
Stop
I
acting dumb.
understand the conversation to be about American racism,
Okay,
or
so
maybe
you
I'm
don't want
wrong.
to, you don't want to include other countries because it doesn't work in your benefit, right?
Well,
Does
I would
racism
agree
only
with you. Wait,
exist
wait,
in
wait,
the
wait, wait, wait,
United
wait. Hold
States?
on, hold on.
No.
I would
All
agree with
right.
you,
So
dude.
let's have
Hold
an
on, dude.
honest conversation here.
Dude. If we're gonna accept the definition that they gave, then you have to accept in a society where the black people are the majority and they wield all the power and they ostracize and they have superiority, artificial superiority over other people of other races. That would also be considered contextual racism in that environment, not a global environment, in that
but groups, but
that small environment. But you have to
So what
but
understand,
we're
they
groups.
what
have to
what you're
control
saying?
they have to
Oh,
control the economics. They have to control the economics. They have to
We
control
got it.
the
We got it.
power.
Can I
They
ask
have
you a
to
question real
control.
quick, TC?
Yeah, TC, everybody knows this
We got it.
definition. Everyone knows it. Hold on, let me
Well,
just
I'm
say this
agreeing
because
with him on that. Then
I don't
if that's the
care, TC.
definition,
I
I
don't care.
agree.
Hold on. I don't care. We all know these definitions and we all know the colloquial meaning. We all know how it's always been used. We know how it's even still used today when we're talking about white people or anyone else. But evidently, even though white people aren't a system, an individual is not a system, just like a black individual isn't a system. Like individuals are different than fucking systems. And if we can't acknowledge that, I don't know. Like, all of you who are so upset about any kind of charter school options, or all of you who think that people can be taught not to fucking eat a bunch of bullshit in America, you've lost your fucking minds because we have educated the inability to have discussions into this fucking country.
so I was gonna say. So now, do definitions? Do we only count them in America? does racism have a different definition in the UK? This is such a stupid fucking counter. It's very irritating to listen
No,
to,
dude,
right?
that's
Like,
stupid.
we're
That's a
saying that
stupid
only in the
deduction on
United
what we're
States
saying.
context does the definition of racism apply. It doesn't apply anywhere else. It's so
Nobody
fucking
So,
said
stupid.
that. Nobody
so
said
Plus,
l-
that.
let's
When the Merriam-Webster was read earlier, only a section 2 was read of the actual definition. So what are you even talking about?
let's
Dude,
take
I
it
don't
to
even know what
America.
this. I don't
So
even know what this
TC, can
guy
I
is
ask you a
talking
question?
about. No, no, no. Hold on. Because he's saying something. He's trying to attribute these sentiments to me. Nobody said that racism only exists in America. We're having this conversation in America, so naturally, you would expect for us to contextualize the conversation to America,
No,
not to the
no, we're
global.
not.
Okay, fine.
We're
Let's
having it
talk
on
about America.
Clubhouse. It's on Clubhouse, not America.
All right,
Also,
so
it's
let's
still.
talk about.
Do you not have knowledge of other countries like this? Even to that point, it's fucking stupid. Are you not able to think critically outside about how things operate in places outside of the United States as an American? Are you incapable of processing that in your head? It's so fucking dumb.
Dude, are you fucking? This is so trivial. Like now, you're really like distracting the conversation. You're gonna be trivial as shit.
Okay,
Okay,
let's
fine.
talk about
Let's
America,
talk
TC.
about
I got a
March.
question for you,
No,
man.
no. Let's talk about let's talk about
Let's talk
Marchwana.
about
Fine.
it.
Let's talk about Marchwana. Let's talk about some random country in the world that nobody gives a
Go ahead.
like nobody fucking knows about, and then have a conversation about race.
No,
But we
no,
don't
you.
understand the nuances. We don't
So,
understand the players. We don't understand the political players, the economic players. That's stupid, dude. You're dumb, bro.
Except
And
we
I was
do,
hoping to
and he.
I was hoping to have a heightened and enlightened conversation about this. But he wants to talk about marijuana, so let's have a
No,
conversation
he
about
said
racism and
UK.
marijuana.
He said UK, which is very similar. Go
No,
with
no,
the
no.
UK.
The problem, Samia, is that it omits examples where Black or Black people of African descent have power and use it inappropriately, right? So we want to eliminate all those examples to make the counterpoint of what they're trying to get at, because they want to take that off the table. That's the whole point of why he's saying this, right? Because there are clear examples where this has happened in history repeatedly. But I'm done.
okay, so TC, let me ask you a question. Like in the U.S. system, like the way discrimination is actually brought out is individual. Like you have a hiring manager, he favors white people. You have a somebody in a position of power, they favor a certain group. That's how discrimination happens in real life. It's not systematic. Is the individual working within the system that makes a decision? Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that partly. I think you can't discount the fact that systems can discriminate against individuals. You look at Jim Crow laws, right? Jim Crow laws were highly systematic and they were also highly discriminatory. So
Yeah,
so
I would concede that point. Systems, people can work within systems. Systems can be designed to discriminate. I think redlining is a good example of that.
that's another
So,
good example. Yes.
but 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 a definition of racism is on the individual level where a person is making a racist decision not to hire the black person because they're black. You would agree that that person, that individual is a racist in acting if he's acting purely out of racial animus.
Of course, yeah, 100%. One does not discount the other, though. What
Okay,
you're saying is,
fair, I'm not. I conceded that point. I did all the concessions. You would also agree in 2025 in America, you have African American hiring managers, you have people in positions of power that have influence over other people. You would concede that point.
of course, I'm still trying to connect the dots here, buddy.
So I'm going to connect it
Oh,
for you.
you keep
So so
talking.
so
You keep talking
so
for the
so
past 12
so
hours,
so
bro.
so so the so that African American hiring manager, if he's
Is the
only
white
hiring
hiring
it,
manager doing the same
so
thing?
if that
Like,
African American hiring
eh,
manager
wait a
is
second, bro.
hiring
The white manager has been
it's
hiring the
just
same thing.
so
Stop stuttering.
so
The
if
white
that
manager has been
if
hiring.
if
Bro, stop
Dude, can you
stuttering.
stop,
The
bro?
white
Can you
manager.
let him finish,
The
please?
white
Can you let him
manager,
finish?
bro.
Let
No,
him
wait a
finish,
second.
bro.
The white
You're just
manager has
talking
been
over
doing
him.
it for like 100 fucking years and he's stuttering. The white manager, or do I hire white people? Why do I hire black people? I don't know. Maybe in the 60s. Shut the fuck up. Nobody gives a shit if you hire black people.
yeah,
We don't
very
care.
This
intellectual
room
point.
is racist.
Nobody
All the
gives a
moderators
shit,
are white.
bro. Shut your mouth. Like nobody cares if you hire
He's
black
trolling.
people in 2025. Like nobody cares. Good. Do you want a
You
cookie?
need to give a
But you hired a
black
black
person a
person.
green bean. What about affirmative action on Clubhouse? Come on
That's
now.
what I'm talking about, bro. This person is talking about like, do you want like a cookie? Like you hired a black person in 2025? Oh, good for you. Good black, good white man. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Nobody gives a shit if you had a black person in 2025, whatever the fuck your name is. Nobody cares and nobody gives a shit. Go do your thing.
Do you have to
It's
be white to get a
2025.
green bean in here?
Shut your mouth, you bitch ass. Like, you're talking in 2025 and you're saying like, oh, let me get a green beam. Nobody cares if you hired a black person in 2025. Shut your mouth and go to the back of the line. Fuck out of here. You want a cookie? You want people to clap for you? Like,
Thank God.
Thank you.
I was
God
Well,
is
hoping.
good.
that was painful.
What the hell, dude?
So, so that was super painful. So back to the
So is the
basic
rest of this
point.
conversation.
Yeah, that is true. So back to the basic point. You would agree that African Americans can hold positions of power in 2025, where they're hiring managers, et cetera. If that person in a position of power decides to not hire a white person based off racial animus, or not hire or make a decision based on race, would you not define that as racism?
No, I would define that as discrimination because it lacks a very important feature. The white person is not a minority. He's not marginalized. He's not disenfranchised systemically in society. What he's experiencing is discrimination. He's being discriminated against on the basis of his race.
So if
But
you
by
were
the
to
very nature of the well, by the very nature of the definition, because he's not a minority, he cannot have experienced racism. He's
so,
experienced discrimination.
so
Hey,
if
Brent, can
I
I ask
could if
TC a
I if I
question,
could
please?
could I just one
Sure,
one
no
other
problem.
thing.
Sorry.
So if I could define your definition of racism, it would be racial discrimination or animus from a majority group. Is that how you would find it?
Systemically, you can't have. I don't believe you can have racism outside of the environment that provides for one race to be a superior, to be in a superior position than the other race, simply because that race holds the majority power or wields the majority power in that context.
Hey,
If that
TC,
makes any
man, always a
sense.
pleasure. Great to see you, brother. My question to you is this: if a black person were to drive a car into a group of white people because they're white, is that a racist act?
That's a damn good question.
If there are any examples like that, you guys give
Hold on.
hypotheticals or what if a
That's
black
a
person did?
This has
If
happened, Hakima. This has
I'm
actually happened. This
okay,
has
okay, well,
actually happened,
okay, cool,
Hakima.
cool. Just let me know when and where. Just let me know
well,
when and where.
Hakima, can you grapple with that? Because that really changes the paradigm. Because
No,
there's only
no,
one power.
it don't change it though. But go ahead.
It
Well,
may just
to
be
me
a
it does.
reaction to racism.
No. But to me it does because now the power structure has changed. Now that one individual has the power to take one's life, which operates superior. It supersedes economic and social orders. That's a higher order. That
Everybody got the power. Everybody got the power to take somebody's life.
But if you're
Like,
if you're not
like
taking one's
everybody,
life on the
everybody got the power.
but if you're not taking one's life on the basis of okay, so in that context, Anthony, I would agree with you because he now controls the power to decide whether one lives or dies by the virtue of the fact that he's the one wielding the lethal weapon and
Exactly.
he decides to he decides to act on that 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 power order is higher than social and economic power order. So in
That
that
se-
case I could see that being racism. Yes, so
Hey,
I mean,
yes,
that
I
seems
agree with
very
that.
arbitrary to me.
can I add something real quick? Like, can a black person be racist? Yes, a black person in America can be racist. But for the most part, is that a problem or remotely a problem? No, it is not. So, like, Well, of course, it's clearly anybody can be racist, but the point of a black person being racist in America versus a white person being racist or another race is totally different. I don't even get why bringing it up. Of course, a black person can be racist, but it's kind of like a
Well,
waste of time because, like,
well, I think
what can you really achieve with that racism?
yeah,
Kelly,
You
we
can't.
that's the reason why I say that black people can't be racist because without that power component, without the person having that autonomy over the power, having like authority over the power system being displayed, and having complete and
This
total
is
autonomy,
America, right? Like,
I don't see how
are you
one
gonna
can be
keep this
how one
America?
can be racist.
Wait a second.
Kelly, we should become poor white trash because then we will never be able to be racist.
Well, not only can black people not be racist, but white people can't even experience racism.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
I'm gonna be
there's a
honest. You
lot
see,
These
there's
are
a lot
such
of
Hakima.
brain
counters
dead
going on
takes.
here.
It's
So I
breathtaking.
was
Okay.
gonna
So
say, so
Hakima, you
you
see,
are
this is the
basically,
problem, Hakima, with
oh
your
my god.
assertion. Your assertion is that it's obvious that black people can be racist. I couldn't agree with you more. However, you have people like MJ that are going to deny the fact that black people can be racist. He will deny this to the grave. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is born out of MJ's victim mentality. MJ talks about the system of white supremacy creating race. If we were to pull up a list of household income in the United States, white people are not at the top of that list. There's
That
something wrong with
Hey,
the
hey, 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 hey,
mousetrap. There's
Anthony,
that's not
something
evidence to
wrong with
prove
the
that
hey, hey,
racism
hey,
mousetrap.
doesn't exist.
Anthony,
There's a
can
problem.
you pull up the statistics of black people being effectively racist toward white people? Like, us talk about not in hypotheticals or what ifs. Like, where are the examples of black people being racist against white people? And let's understand. Let's hold on. Let's understand what racist is. Like, racism started when white people just felt like black people were less than them, and therefore we can treat you guys like animals. Therefore, if a black person retaliates, it's not out of fucking I think I'm better than you. It's because you've been shitting on me for fucking 400 years. So my rationale, if I was in a position of authority, my rationale for shutting you down is not because I think I'm better than you. It's because you've been shitting on me for fucking 400 years. Do you get the difference?
I
It's only
wasn't alive
justice.
four
It's
Okay,
only
years
so
ago.
justice.
so to respond to
Wasn't alive
Hakima,
400
one
years
mic,
ago.
one mic, you guys. To respond to Hakima, Hakima, here's the problem. The problem in 2025 is black people view everything as racist. When you say every transgression, every comment, every
Nobody
ill
said that
word
though.
is no,
Painting the
no, no,
picture
no,
that's
no, no,
not
no,
true
no, no,
though.
no, no,
You
no,
painting the
no.
picture that's not
Oh
true.
my
Nobody
God.
said that though, Anthony.
No, no, but yo, Hakima, yes, this is your argument. When you ask me, right?
That's not my argument.
What?
I
No,
didn't say
yo, let me
everything.
answer, yo, Hakima,
I didn't say that
please.
though.
All right,
I'm
I'm
mute
not
up.
gonna
I'm
say
mute
anything.
up. You got
I'm
it.
gonna show
No,
you
you
how
got
you
it. You
did.
got it, Anthony.
All right, thank you. I'm gonna show you how you did. Hakima, you asked me what's the net effect of black people being racist on white people. Yo, I think that racism in 2025 is still an issue, but overall the net effect is minimum overall. It's minimum. There was a point in this country's history where a racist person could wear their racism like a badge of honor. You could run for political office and acknowledge that you were a racist, and
That's
people would
today.
vote for
That
you
happens
not in
today. What are you
spite of it,
talking about?
but because of it. Now, no, now, Hakima, if you are openly racist, you will be canceled by society at large.
Trump
This
just
is
won a
what will
fucking
happen.
election. What are we doing here?
Okay, so you think that Trump is openly racist. I vehemently disagree with you. And I think it's an example of what I was saying before about everything being categorized as racist. Everything. Black
Hey,
people
Anthony,
say everything is racist now.
are you a black American,
Anything.
Anthony? Are you a black American?
I was born in Brooklyn, New York. Does that make me
Hold
a
on.
black
No, no.
American?
Are you a black
Does
American?
that
Is
make
my
me a black
question.
American?
You,
I was
you know the
born in
question.
Brooklyn, New York.
No, no, that don't make you a black American. A lot of people born, white people born in Brooklyn, New York. That don't make them black. So no, that don't make you black.
Okay. All right. White people were born in Brooklyn. It doesn't make them black. Hakeem, how are we moving the ball forward? Can I run
Call,
for president, Hakima? Hakima, can I run for president?
you are American. That don't make you a
Can
black American.
yes, I'm an
Obama,
American. Okay,
but
so
are you
so
a black
Hakima,
American though?
Hakima, when I get pulled over by the cops, do the cops go into their database and see where my parents are from? Do they
Why you
look in
answer
their
the question though?
database?
But why
Do
can't
they
you
look?
answer the
Do they
question?
have some database where they look at and they
Why can't
see
you answer the
where my
question though?
parents are from?
I don't care about the cop. I'm
Yeah, I
asking
said
you.
yes. I am a Black American. I've answered your question.
So
I
so
was
so so
born in
your
Brooklyn, New York. I qualify to be the president of the United States. I'm not a naturalized citizen. I am a black man and I'm American.
but I mean, are you a black? Are your grandparents, the great grandparents, the descendants of chattel slavery in North America?
Okay. No. The answer to that
Okay,
question is
okay.
no. But no, but Hikima, before you go any further, I've been married to an FBA descendant of chattel slavery for 20 years. This is my wife. This is my life partner. 20 years we've been married. So I want you to try to mitigate that. All the benefits that you seek, the reparations, they would still affect my household. And I reject that bullshit. Wholeheartedly reject that bullshit. This is
Well,
crazy talk.
hey,
All of
Anthony,
this.
you attaching yourself to something for it's weird. Like wherever you from, be that and speak for those people. It is fine, but like for you to try to pretend that you are Black American, okay, we are particularly talking about Black Americans, chattel slavery Black Americans. That's literally what the conversation is about.
Okay. So,
For you to pretend that you are that when you know you are not that, you
okay.
are being
Okay.
disingenuous.
Well,
Okay. So,
nobody made any
Hakima,
distinctions, Hakima.
Hakima,
Hold
nobody
on,
MJ,
hold
made
on, hold
any
you're
on, hold
not.
on.
You
distinction,
can't
and
talk for
Anthony, can
him,
I
MJ is
finish,
MJ.
please?
not. MG is not. Like it's an insult, Hakima, for you to say that me, a black man born in America, I have to be a descendant of chattel slavery in America
To speak for Black Americans,
in
yes.
order for
To
me to
speak for
have an
Black
opinion
Americans.
on this, because
To
racism
speak for
only
no.
affects
To
black
speak for
black descendants of chattel
to
slavery.
speak for Black
Racism does
Americans.
not affect
To speak for
other
Black
black people
Americans.
in America.
For speak for
Racism doesn't affect them.
to speak for Black Americans, you are being disingenuous. Like I
Well,
like
Hakeem,
I'm not gonna go to Jamaica. I'm not going to Ethiopia, Kenya,
oh, Jesus
Nigeria.
Christ.
I'm not going to none of them places and speaking for Jamaicans, Kenyans, Nigerians. So don't come to
Hakima,
America, even though we share skin
Hakima,
color.
do,
Anthony,
Do
can I
not
do
come to
respond,
You're
please?
not
sure
gonna
Can
you
I
go to
got it.
can
America
MJ
speaking for
respond?
Black
No, hold on.
Americans. Like,
Everyone
stop
mute
it.
up. Everyone mute up for a second. Everyone mute up. I wanna respond to something in the chat. So Anthony gives his personal opinion. And then you have Brian Haywood in the chat says Anthony isn't right. And then that wasn't enough. Brian Haywood wanted to get some attention. So then he says he's being an Uncle Tom. An Uncle Tom. This is where the conversation has gotten, that Anthony gives his personal opinion, and now he's being personally insulted for giving his personal opinion. You guys, honestly, like, grow the fuck up. Like, we could do better than this. And honestly, like, I'm just not going to stand for it. You guys want to have a conversation about race? We're going to have an intelligent one. And those that start, making personal insults, especially to people that don't insult anyone. Anthony's one of the. I mean, I disagree with him on a lot of things, but and that's fine. We could disagree, but I've never once heard him personally insult anyone on this app. And for people to do that, I think it's very low, and I'm just not going to tolerate it. Period.
The
Yeah, if I
problem
could
is like
respond,
Wait. He
if
insults me
MJ could
all the
respond,
time.
yeah, if MJ could respond. So, yeah, Hakima, to talk about.
the experience of being black in America. Unfortunately, for your case, it's just not exclusive to people that have been here or come from a lineage of people that have been here for over 150 years. Just like being white in America is not exclusive to whites that have only been here for the same period of time. Doesn't make any sense. Being black in America is being black in America. No matter how much time you've spent here, we can speak to the individual experiences, and if somebody has actual context, regardless of where they're from, and it's pertinent, their opinion is valid. I disagree with um, your stance, where you're coming from with that. Even though I agree with where you stand on the subject matter itself, it's kind of fun. But
Hey, MJ, the only thing I'm saying is speak on it from your context, from who you are. If you, a white person, a Chinese person, anybody can give their opinion of black, what we know as black people in America. But if a person is from Jamaica or Kenya or something like that, want to speak as a black American, we know there is a difference. So just say that you're not speaking as a black American. Say you're speaking as a Kenyan or a Jamaican. Say that and give your opinion, but don't act like you're speaking as a black person whose grandparents and great grandparents are from chattel slavery. Because those are a different group of people. Let's not flatten blackness. Well, we are a diverse people from all across the globe, and the ones in America is a particular group. So everyone do not get to come here just because we share skin color and say we are that group and speak for that group. Now, if you want to speak about that group, that's fine. Speak about it, but don't speak as if you are that group. That is the problem.
Okay, so Hakima, what's the difference between race and ethnicity?
You define that. Make your point. Don't make your point. Don't question me about dumb shit.
No, no, don't question me about dumb shit. You made an assertion about Jamaicans and Kenyans. Are Jamaica are okay? Are the majority of Jamaicans with darker skin tone and the majority of Kenyans with darker skin tone? Not all,